Welcome back. We are making a cheesecake with a difference today. No, it's not a dessert, but rather a savoury vegan option.
Yes, it is. Tony Keogh from Cornucopia of Dublin's Wicklow Street is in charge of the kitchen. And we did say earlier, a cheesecake with a difference. We're really not lying. This is something we've never seen before.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. It's it's a vegan cheesecake, and it is gluten-free as well, which is good. And with the nice weather outside as well, I think it would just be like it's just really good for this weekend. It just kind of worked out well that way.
And easy to make, Tony.
And easy to make, which is the cinch. So basically, I'm making an oat almond base. So I have here some oat flour, some ground almonds. I'm just going to put in about 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, which I've melted. That's actually about 2.5 there, I would say.
Okay.
You give that a quick mix. There's actually a pinch of salt in there as well. So I'm going to bring this together, and it kind of comes together in a kind of like sort of a biscuit-like effect you're looking for.
Okay,
almost
so
like
crumbly.
a breadcrumb,
So it's kind of crumbly, yeah. Now, you can add a little bit of water to it, make it a bit more like a pastry. So make it a bit more stable. Like you can probably see the base of those there is kind of a bit crumbly.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice in your mouth, you know. But if you wanted to make it for more of a presentation piece, a small drop of water would help to bring it together more like a pastry. So that's the biscuit effect there.
So that's your base.
That's the base. So I'll just pop this in here. And this gets baked then for literally 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes.
As is, like that?
As like that, yeah. Just for like 10 minutes on the lower shelf of the oven. Now, I wouldn't put it on the high shelf, the lower shelf.
And is it on a low heat, Tony?
About 180 degrees.
Yeah, okay.
And just once you start seeing it starting to brown slightly around the edges, it's ready. If you go any more than that, it actually starts to crack on you.
Good, okay.
So that's the base ready there. Now, and here is one, because we're on TV time, here's one I made earlier.
Great.
Okay, so I'm going to make the filling now. So I brought in the mother of all blenders. This is my Vitamix. Now, you can use any blender. A NutriBullet, a stick and a butt, they all work.
The hand blenders are fine.
The hand blenders, yeah. They just take a bit longer. That's why I thought I'd bring this today.
This is the Ferrari.
This is the Ferrari of blenders. So
all right, let's rev her up.
It's going to be loud, okay? So I have to do this in 2 batches. So firstly in here I have some cashew nuts. I'm going to add some melted coconut oil.
Okay.
There's about 120 mils of coconut oil. 200 grams of cashews. Now hopefully this works without turning it into butter, but we still make it anyway. It'll be fine.
Right, go. Wow, okay.
Right. Brilliant.
Now, pardon my ignorance, Tony, but the coconut oil you say you melted, does that come in a block or in a jar?
Yeah, no, it actually comes in a jar. Now, the thing with coconut oil, which is great, is that coconut oil is actually solid at room temperature.
Ah, right.
But then when you melt it then, it's great. You can melt it and then you get resets as well, which is fantastic.
Ah, right, okay.
Now, they're not 100% blended as much as I'd like, but it's fine. This is for demonstration. The one you guys are eating is blended.
So you want a fine blend?
A fine blend, yeah. As smooth as possible, just to give that kind of cheesy texture. And now we're going to use the blender again for one more component. So I have some sauerkraut, randomly enough.
Wow.
Sauerkraut, yeah.
Wow, okay.
It's the lactic acid fermentation, the sauerkraut, which gives that tanginess to kind of cheese. So by just using a little bit of sauerkraut...
How do you come up with these recipes? Is it
standing on the shoulders of giants. There's a lot of information out there in the public domain, books, internet, and then, of course, trial and error as well. You know?
Wow.
I have here Nutritional yeast flakes. These are available in all health food stores and some supermarkets. I use these every time I'm on for something, you know. They give that kind of cheesy flavour.
Right.
Yeah, they're actually, you know, you get King Crisps, cheese and onion crisps. There's no cheese in them, but they use the nutritional yeast. That's what gives the cheese flavour.
Tony, you've blown the lid off the
secret.
I know. A bit of lemon juice here as well, just to add to the tanginess.
Okay.
Because you want to get a kind of a tangy mixture. I've got about 100 mils of measured water.
Okay.
There, that's it.
I thought I'd seen it all, but sauerkraut.
I know, it's a weird one, isn't it? Yeah.
Now.
This is regular tofu, okay?
Okay.
Just regular tofu from the fridge.
Okay.
So all these ingredients you'll be able to pick up in the supermarket, very handy. There's nothing too alien here today. It's all very straightforward. And a lot of it's store cupboard stuff. So I'll just give that a blend.
Now that's a blender.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it?
Like, I believe you can put an iPhone in here. A little bit of water and you can have an iPhone puree.
Oh, Lord.
There's a television show in that. What can you blend in Tony's blender? Send in your items.
Yeah, anything you have there, just post it in. Wow. So that's in there. So this is basically effectively more or less your full cheesecake mix. Now, normally with cheesecake, like a regular cheesecake, is stabilised with gelatin.
Yeah. So your coconut oil is going to reset
the coconut oil,
then.
And the fact that I used unsoaked cashew nuts, because the unsoaked cashew nuts will actually absorb a bit more moisture and help to set it.
Okay. Yeah.
And one more little trick is I'm using xanthan gum. Now, normally for cheesecake, I'd normally use agar, which is like a veggie gelatin, but I'm going to use xanthan gum instead. So I'll just pop a little bit in there.
Okay.
Now, you have to work quickly here because this... Oh, I've actually added salt to that as well already. It goes in with the yeast flakes.
Okay. So is that a binding agent? Or?
Yeah, it actually works. It's actually called a hydrocolloid. So what it does is it absorbs liquid.
Okay.
And like you can see as I'm whisking it now, it's starting to thicken up slightly.
That Xanthan Gum is an ingredient I'm familiar with because we have a celiac child, so that we use that in baking.
In baking, yes, it's used a lot in baking.
You use that a lot in cakes and scones and that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's actually such a versatile ingredient.
Yeah.
It's if you use too much of it, it's slimy though. That's why I actually used unsoaked cashews, because if you were to make this using soaked cashews, you'd need to add more xanthan.
And what's the salt? Is the salt for a flavouring, or is it just to activate something?
The salt is just for a little bit of bite, just for a bit of flavour, because there's no other salts in there. So just give that a little stir, so you can see it's starting to thicken up a little bit.
There you go, look at that, yeah.
Now that's going to set firm in the fridge, but before I do that, I've got some pestos. I've got some red pesto.
Here, sauerkraut.
So this is where
pesto.
we're bringing
cheesecake.
the savoury to the sweet.
This is all the weird stuff.
This is going to be banging with flavour.
Yeah.
This is
and then we have the
a revelation.
basil pesto. So we've got basil pesto, red pesto. Just store-bought in jars.
You don't be well, Tony. Basil pesto and sauerkraut.
It sounds strange, but
can't wait.
Have a taste there, guys.
Yeah, we're going to
Will we? Okay.
Yeah, give it a
Right.
twirl there.
So on top here we have
that's a peppernat on top. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to pop this into the cheesecake. So I'm just putting this over the base here. So it's peppernat on top.
Peperonata.
Peperonata. It's an Italian condiment, like an Italian antipasta.
like a tapenade.
Yeah, like a tapenade. And it's usually served cold, actually, but it's you can also serve it warm.
That is very different.
Is that different in a good way or different in a bad way?
My mouth is feeling one thing and my brain's thinking another thing.
I'm getting that. You get a creamy texture like you're eating a cheesecake, but then you get that vinegary taste from the sauerkraut and the peperonata. It's beautiful.
The flavours work well together, don't they?
Yeah. And the texture is great.
The flavour and the texture. The texture is very cheese-like.
Very different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a combination of coconut, cashew.
Confused my mind.
It's like a mind game.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Brilliant. It's like the combination of the coconut.
Oh,
and then
man.
I'll just give it a knock. See when it's like that then, guys, you just give it a knock.
Wow.
And then that settles it.
Is this lunch or is this dessert?
This is lunch.
This is lunch.
It's kind of like a summer lunch.
Because it doesn't taste like dessert.
No, it's far from dessert. But as a summer lunch, what you can actually do, I'll just serve one up here. What you can actually do with this as a summer lunch is you can serve a lovely bit of salads. And you can actually warm it up slightly. If you just, once it's set properly, you can stick it in the microwave or in the oven. Just for a couple of minutes now, not too long, just to get a little bit of heat into it.
It's reminding me of a very posh quiche. You know what I mean? That kind of... It's just that those vegetables in there are beautiful. That peperonata.
But it's so much more moist than a quiche would be.
It's very different. It's very
softer.
The creamy effect. It's kind of like a kind of a cashew cheese effect, and the flavour actually develops. The good thing with this is that it lasts about 5 days.
Right. Okay.
Now,
and it gets better and better.
It gets better. Now I just made that last night, but then that'll still be good to go. What day is today? Saturday. It'll still be good to go on Thursday.
Oh wow!
And the flavour just gets stronger because it continues to ferment the sauerkraut. The flavour just gets stronger. When I make it at home, sometimes I use lactic acid, which you can buy in a powder, and again that brings the flavour on a little bit more.
Tony, you have blown our mind.
You are a scientist, blown our mind and our taste buds. Very quickly, what did you dress it with?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to say that. This is balsamic yogurt. So it's basically just very simple. Yogurt, mayonnaise, and balsamic vinegar. Like one part yogurt, 1 part mayonnaise, and just a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar.
Amazing.
And I just did a little swirl on the plate.
Your mind is a wonderful place, Tony.
A few almonds, a few flaked almonds.
A few almonds. Sure, why not?
Just for a bit of crunch.
Tony, if there was an audience present, they would be applauding. That is phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
It really is amazing. Full recipe details are up on our website, or of course you can check out and head into Tony in Cornucopia to try everything for yourself.